A smaller group of Republican presidential hopefuls is set to take the debate stage tomorrow night. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, and tech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy all appear to have qualified. Galen Druke from ABC's 538 is here with more. Galen, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum just dropped out of the race yesterday. So how much of an impact could that have on the debate?
Yeah, so this is part of the winnowing process that we often see in primaries. As we get closer to Iowa caucus day, candidates drop out and attention becomes more focused on the people who remain. And talking to voters out in the field, you hear, I don't know, there's a lot of people running. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll wait for the winnowing process to happen so there are fewer options and I can sort of really focus on the serious candidates. And that's what we're going to see in a sense on this stage. Doug Burgum didn't actually make the third debate, but Tim Scott did, senator from South Carolina, and he has also since dropped out. So there are going to be the fewest people we've seen so far on the debate stage tomorrow night in Tuscaloosa. And that means that everyone's going to have more speaking time. It also means that the fire is going to be on the candidates that are on stage to a larger degree. I think going into this debate, the big focus right now is between Haley and DeSantis. You know, they're getting really close in national polling. Nikki Haley actually now leads Ron DeSantis in New Hampshire and has a significant lead as well in South Carolina. I should say Trump leads all of them. But if we're talking about sort of who's going to be the main alternative to Trump, I think the focus is really on these two. And the question is whether Nikki Haley can fully supplant Ron DeSantis as the main alternative to the former president.
Meanwhile, former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney says she's weighing a third-party presidential run. How could that affect this race?
We've heard from a lot of people that they are considering a third-party presidential run. I think Joe Manchin may also be considering one. RFK Jr. is already running. You know, Jill Stein is running as the Green Party candidate. There's also going to eventually be a Libertarian candidate. So a lot of people sort of wading into the realm of third-party or independent runs. Big picture here, what we can say is that oftentimes these third-party candidates don't gain all that much traction. And even if polling early on shows that they're getting a lot of support from the public, you know, currently RFK Jr. is getting somewhere in the realm of 12%. Once we get closer to election day, that support usually craters. Now, there are some exceptions. Of course, in the 1992 election, Ross Perot got about 19% of the vote nationally, but didn't win an actual single state, and polling suggested that he took equally from both sides. To talk about Liz Cheney specifically, she would be running as an explicitly anti-Trump candidate, saying that she essentially wants to represent a conservative party that is free from Trump. Now, it's unclear whether or not she will actually run, but if she does run, you can imagine that in large part her campaign will be exactly that message, saying that Trump is not a real conservative, the party has not stuck to the Constitution in a way that conservatives would like it to. And so there's the possibility that even if she doesn't ultimately get a lot of support, her messaging throughout the campaign is designed to damage Trump. I would wonder if she does indeed get in and it becomes clear that her presence in the race may make it easier for Trump to win, of course, because if Biden is the nominee and if Trump is the nominee, Biden is going to try to piece back together an anti-Trump coalition. And so if there are other explicit anti-Trump candidates in the race, you might wonder, could that ultimately help Trump? You'd have to think that if Liz Cheney's primary goal is to make sure that Trump is not reelected, you know, even if she did get in, she might not stay in all the way through. This is a lot of hypotheticals here, but there are going to be moving parts with all of these third-party and independent candidates saying that they're considering running, because ultimately it is expensive and hard to run for president. It's not easy to get on the ballot in a lot of states.
Now, former President Trump is expected to skip this debate, as he has all the others so far. He's still far ahead in the polls. So what do the remaining candidates need to do to try to close that gap?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, while a lot of the focus is on Haley and DeSantis, I should just say here that according to our polling averages at 538, Trump has nearly 60% support nationally. If you look at the early states like Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, he's below 50% support. Trump is more around 45%. And there you see, for example, in Iowa, DeSantis has about 18% to Haley's 15% support. And then, as I mentioned, Haley leads in New Hampshire and South Carolina. So what the candidates are going to try to do in this debate is make themselves the alternative to Trump. And Haley is really going to sort of use the money from her recent endorsements and her performance in the debate so far, which has been quite strong, to try to become that person. And we'll talk about whether or not that happens once the debate takes place.
All right, Galen Druke from ABC's 538. Thanks, Galen.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.